Hello, my art-loving friends. I have been on a month-long road trip and we are on day 14, so 2 weeks in. I thought you might like to see what art supplies I brought with me and what I've used so far. So I let myself pack in this tub, art supplies that I brought with me. It's kind of a large tub, but kind of not at the same time. So not everything fit in the tub because at the last minute I started to throw more stuff in the tub. So I'll just show you what is on top and what's in it and what I've used. Okay, because I've been using stuff, some of the stuff that was inside is now on top. This was actually in my little Jazza art case in the closet, but I pulled it out because it was the only thing in there other than these water brushes. So I have that little Jazza art case with me in case I want to take out and about, but I forgot the backpack straps for it. It makes me so bummed because the backpack straps would have been perfect. So I have the 1 color a day book that I have been doing my pages in for World Watercolor Month since I knew in July and on this trip I would not be able to do a full watercolor piece. So this is my World Watercolor Month plan here. Water brushes, a rag. I actually have 2 rags. One's in the little Jazza case still. My A6 Etcher sketchbook. I brought this Strathmore watercolor travel journal thinking I would use it. I haven't used it yet. That's okay. Maybe I'll bring it with me today. I need to put stuff over here that I want to bring with me today so I don't lose it in this pile of stuff I'm about to show you. So this cute little travel palette that was gifted to me and then I filled with watercolors from my collection, and I had a binder problem with the Mission Gold Van Dyke Brown and it has leaked out everywhere. I had this in my bag yesterday at whatever angle, and yeah, that one with the binder issue just never set up because it was all binder. So it's almost empty there and I can't really get any color out of it, but there's that. Paper towel. I just grabbed these fine liners out of the other Jazza case so that I would have fine liners with me. I got these little fine line pens because some of Joanna Basford's coloring, so I brought the coloring book here, 30 Days of Creativity. Some of it's really fine. You can see how little some of this is. And so having these fine lining coloring pens is perfect for her coloring books, and they also don't bleed through. You can see here I've done this page and nothing bleeds through, so that's why I brought all these. I wouldn't have brought them if I hadn't brought this book, but I thought it would be super fun to get in this book and play. But when I have time to do art, I usually end up doing my World Watercolor Month project instead, so I haven't used it. I wasn't sure if I needed to cut paper, so I brought my cutter. This is that Junior Ranger activity book I showed you in the video before I left, which I can link in the corner. I just need to find somebody to give this to, but I think I'm going to wait until I get back to Glacier National Park in the US, because most of this is for US parks. Still need to get rid of that. I did buy this while I was here. Some of you said I could buy art supplies on a trip like this because it wouldn't count against my no-buy. Anyway, I did use this picture here and transferred it to watercolor paper and painted it the other day. So you'll see that. And then I'll just give this book away once I get home to someone else. Maybe use a couple of more images out of it to transfer for painting ideas. But yes, I'll give this away. Clips, because I need clips to keep this book open. This book does not stay open. You can see it just is super stubborn. Alright, that's everything that was on the tub. In the tub, I did buy this here in Canada because it's a shirt. It's not an art supply. Anyway, what you can do is you can draw a design on your t-shirt for the day and then wear it, wash it, and draw something else. Anyway, I thought it would be super fun to try for myself. And it was 50% off of this price, so it was like $22.50 Canadian, which is not very much in US. How much is that? $15, $16 US? So we'll have to play with that eventually. Here's that moose painting from this coloring book I did. I did not look up a moose photo reference though, so I could have done better, but that's okay. It was fun. Oh, hoo-hoo, acrylic markers, because I'm supposed to review these while I'm here. Hopefully I can get to that Mead and watercolor paper block because I really like this paper. My Marie's Masters watercolors. I couldn't find the lid when I left home, so I'm here without the lid. And in here somewhere, I have a palette with these I poured into pans, so I'm supposed to try these out and review them while I'm on this trip. The Medici watercolors, which I'm supposed to review for Light Wish, and I have a video coming out on that actually you probably might see before you see this one. My pencil case with all of my brushes, fine liners, pencils. This is everything I need to do watercolor, not at home, and even at home. I open this up at home. Salt, everything. So this is what I take to the college with me for all of my classes too. That's everything a person needs. My Caran d'Ache gouache. It also has Daniel Smith gouache in it. My core palette. These are watercolored tempera paints I found at my grandma's house that I thought I could compare with the Caran d'Ache gouache. In here I have my Faber-Castell colored pencils. I brought a watercolor journal and a mixed media journal, thinking I could compare these two. I had a lot of plans. I knew I wouldn't get to any of it though. Here's that palette with the Marie's Masters watercolors. The problem with this palette is you have to be smarter than the palette to open it. There we go. So this is what I used to pour the Marie's Masters watercolors into. Looks like they've dried very nicely. Paul Rubens glitter paper that I was gifted from a friend. Some paper that I had included in my watercolor advent calendar, so it's 100% cotton, really nice paper. Brought just a couple of those scraps. My A to Z sketchbook in case I wanted to continue on with my birds. I haven't. This watercolor with me in the forest book in case I wanted to just do something where I didn't have to come up with the idea, and actually I should leave this out because I really want to play with that. In this little core palette are my 31 purple fish watercolors that were gifted to me. My little Viviva travel thing because I really like it. It also has my sketchbook for Inktober last year that I need to finish up. So I thought this would be great to bring out and about, except I haven't. My A Gallo watercolors and the palette, so that I could go ahead and put this palette together, because in that video I showed you, which I think is already linked in the corner, I asked you guys which palette to use, the original or this fancy one, and I do have a majority vote on that, so maybe we can do that on this trip. Some round cotton paper, my Charlie O'Shield sketching stuff, Da Vinci palette, tape, some more fine liners that I threw in, corner rounder, what's that? My bleed proof white, pencil sharpeners because I didn't bring an electric one, my Canson XL watercolor journal in case I just wanted something kind of stress-free to play in. I have Liquitex gloss varnish here because I plan on changing the palette here by using the acrylic markers on it, and I need to varnish it with that. One of those sketchbooks that I linked for you in the Prime Day art deals. I have one. I've been using it. I do like it. I agree with some of the comments. I doubt it's going to hold together very well, but so far mine still is holding together. And even though it's cellulose paper, I very much enjoy working on it. Fabriano paper sketchbook I bought on eBay years ago and have never touched. My Hanamule cotton sketchbook, my Pentalic aqua journal sketchbook, and a super big clip. I need to leave that out. I've been looking for that. Just some white gel pens I threw in randomly last minute. So that's everything I brought with me. What have I used so far? I probably would have used almost nothing if it weren't for the fact that I needed to do product reviews for companies, because I used these doing that video while here on the trip and painted this with them. So I have used my Medici watercolors. In addition, I have used the Medici watercolors in this One Color a Day sketchbook. I've used them here on this page and this page. I have used my 31 purple fish watercolors. Sorry, you can't see them. There you go. Doing this spread here for World Watercolor Day. I think that's the only one I used them on. I have used my Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils doing this spread here in my Color a Day book, which I really like. That was fun. It was interesting because most of the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils felt nice and smooth and creamy, but a couple of them were pretty stiff. Like the ultramarine here was harder, like harder being scratchy. I have used this Alpha Color Tempera paint because I was just looking for a different paint to use in this book here again. So I did this spread here with that paint. I have used my core palette paint here, doing this spread here and this spread. It was fun. I just put squares of water and then dropped color in the corners and just let it spread and do its thing. It was really fun. And then I used some of the gold in that palette. Now remember, in here I have both Caran d'Ache gouache and Daniel Smith gouache, and I decided to use them separately. So I used the Daniel Smith gouache on the 4th of July here for this spread, and I used the Caran d'Ache gouache for this spread. I've used the Marie's Masters watercolors from this palette here on this spread here. Anyway, these colors turned out pretty. We had just seen so many green things that day that I was in a green mood, so I made a bunch of greens. I've used this mini mixed brand palette quite a bit. So I did this spread with that palette. Oh, real quick, I forgot about this one. I used both the Caran d'Ache and the Daniel Smith gouache together doing this one. But back to the mini mixed palette. This is the one I did last night. I just love the colors in that palette. And then I think the last thing I've used are the Ohuhu acrylic markers, because I couldn't resist them, painting this scene here and doing these color swatches. Alright, that is 2 weeks into my trip. I again don't think I would have used much except for what I needed to review for companies if it hadn't been for World Watercolor Month and my 1 color a day book. So thanks to this book, I'm actually using a lot of these supplies. I am grateful for that. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a further video about kind of an art practice, one painting a day kind of thing, because I have some interesting insights on that. Alright guys, I hope that was interesting for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. That's what this video is about. Now he's really into it.